There was a time in my life when silence felt safer than speaking. Not because I didn't have something to say, but because life had taught me that being unheard was normal. Most people see me today strong, direct, confident, but it wasn't always like this. And I want to tell you the real story of how I became unafraid. I grew up in an environment where emotional chaos was pretty much normal. When you learned to read the room before you expressed yourself, where you stayed quiet to keep the peace even when it cost you your own voice. And then, at a very young age, early in my life, I stepped into a marriage that broke pieces of me I didn't even know existed. It was painful and suffocating in ways words can barely explain. But here's the truth: experiences like these don't just wound you, they shape you. They tell you who you're allowed to be and who you're not. For years, I believed that lie, that I had to stay small. After my divorce, I decided to start again. I did my MBA. I entered the world of advertising and I thought finally things would change. But the world has its own biases. You're young, you're a woman, you're too friendly to be taken seriously. I had to say small, play small, and gender biases didn't help. I watched talented professionals get overshadowed and I realized the world isn't kind to voices that don't know how to defend themselves. And neither was I. Not yet. Life wasn't done teaching me. Later, business we started collapsed all around me and took everything we had built. I had to deal with lawyers, cops, employees, consequences, being abused. And for the first time in my life, I found no voice to rescue me, no backup, no safety net, and something inside me shifted. I remember thinking, I cannot spend one more day living small. As a child, as a young woman, as a professional who kept her ideas quiet, as someone who tried to be good to avoid conflict, someone who learned to stay silent because it was safer, better, and well, it avoided confrontations. But silence was costing me everything. So I chose to rise. I started speaking up. I started defending my work. I started holding my space in rooms that once intimidated me. And with every rise, I found pieces of myself I had lost. I became strong. I became clear. I became independent. I became boundaried. I became mindful. I became compassionate because I knew what suffering felt like. And ultimately, I became limitless. Today, I am not shaped by the world. I shape my own world. I help others do the same. People ask me, why did you create the infinite learning? Because after years of training professionals in communication and presentation skills, I saw a pattern. People weren't scared of slides, they were scared of judgment. They weren't bad communicators, they were afraid to speak. They didn't lack skill, they lacked identity, confidence, clarity, presence. And that's when I realized I cannot teach someone to speak if they're terrified of being seen. And so the infinite learning was born, not as a communication school, but as a movement of personal power. A place where people reclaim their voice, their presence, their confidence, their clarity, their influence, their identity. Because when a person rises, everything in their life rises with them. I do this because I know what it feels like to shrink yourself. I know what it feels like to be dismissed, ignored, underestimated. I know what it feels like to be derailed, burnt, and broken, and still rise. I'm not here to teach people how to talk better. I'm here to help them become people who can no longer be silenced. If my story shows you anything, it's this: you can fall many times. People can even burn you. Life can derail you, but you can still rise. When you discover your own voice, your own presence, your own power, you become unstoppable. And that's at the heart of the infinite learning. That is at the heart of who I am. If my story resonated with you, or if you have ever felt unheard, unseen, or underestimated, this channel is for you. Welcome to the infinite learning and welcome to your rise.